Good morning, sirs and ma'ams. Well, good morning or afternoon, depending on what time you're tuning in. I'd like to talk about the tariffs today. See what's going on in the news. See how different news media channels spin everything. Just see some opinions on some people. First off, I'm going to start with a clip of a man called Richard Quest. Now, Richard Quest is an oddball, to say the least, and apparently he's CNN go-to past BBC anchor. So let's see what he has to say.
Tariffs on basically the entire world will do what for the economy?
It will send it into reverse. Let there be no doubt about this. The president said today a whole load of economic nonsense.
Economic nonsense. That's what this man thinks. Apparently, economic nonsense is taking a number that somebody is charging us, splitting that in half, and then charging them for their imports. I don't understand how that's economic nonsense. To me, that makes sense. But, for these people on these shows, common sense isn't too common. All they're trying to do is stir the pot a little bit. Obviously, he's on CNN, so that tells you something about him. And, I did a little Wikipedia search on him, and what I found was pretty bizarre. Now, a simple Wikipedia search, I found this about Mr. Richard Quest. In 2008, Quest was arrested in New York City Central Park with some drugs in his pocket, a rope around his neck that was tied to his down below, and some toys in his boots. Quest admitted to be in possession of controlled substances, and on the 26th of June in 2014, Quest described his past experiences as being a closeted gay man on CNN's television program, Quest Means Business, and he certainly sounds like he means business.
Weird.
Economic nonsense. Coming from that guy. CNN, I don't know. They know how to pick them, don't they? But, I'm not jabbing at the guy. I'm just saying, I don't know if CNN should have that guy on their show to talk about economic nonsense. Just because he's got a British accent doesn't mean he knows what he's talking about. I mean, anyone can look at it and say, it's more fair than anything. I mean, if you look at the numbers, China charges us 67% on our goods. Now we're going to charge them 34%. The EU, 39%. We're going to charge them 20%. Vietnam, 90%. We're going to charge them 46%. And it goes down to the baseline of 10% for your reciprocal tariffs. To me, that doesn't seem like economic nonsense or anything like that. To me, that sounds like fairness. All right, so next we're going to cut to a clip of Ursula von der Leyen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it doesn't really matter. She is the European Commission president. I'm never going to speak to her. You won't either. No one even knows she existed before. She went on the breaking news on Newsweek to talk about the Trump tariffs.
The European Union is a major blow to the world economy. I deeply regret this choice. Let's be clear-eyed about the immense consequences. The global economy will massively suffer. Uncertainty will spiral and trigger the rise of further protectionism. The consequences will be dire for millions of people around the globe. The costs of doing business with the United States will drastically increase.
Okay, so she goes on to talk about protectionism. Well, that's one of her buzzwords. Protectionism in economics refers to government policies that aim to shield domestic industries from foreign competition, often through measures like tariffs, quotas, and subsidies. Now, why is this important? Because she talks about the world economy. They don't care about the United States economy. They only care about theirs, and that's fine. That's what leaders are supposed to do. They're supposed to care about their economy. Now they're upset because we have a president that actually cares about ours. Make that make sense. I mean, if you want a fair deal, you have to have, two things on the table here. We've been getting screwed for years, and now that we're actually asking for them to pay a fair share, they're very upset. I'd be upset too. But you can't get everything for basically free, And in the long run, what they want, what he's talked about, what President Trump has talked about was, so it's even, so it's fair. You have 50, you charge us 50%, we charge you 50%. and slowly that number can go down to zero. That makes sense. Now us paying all this money for these years doesn't make sense, and that's why we're doing tariffs and protectionism, because Donald Trump is trying to protect American citizens and the American economy. All right, so next we're going to cut to a clip of J.D. Vance. He was interviewed by Fox News, and he's going to start talking about the deficit and, the deficit that Joe Biden left us.
And I appreciate, how I grew up.
I know.
I grew up in a family that often did live paycheck to paycheck, and we know a lot of Americans are worried. So we are fighting very hard to bring prices down. We're going to have the biggest deregulation in the history of this country. We're doing a lot of things and already have done a lot of things to lower the cost of energy. You heard the president mention this yesterday. Eggs, when we came in, were at a 10-year high, and all of a sudden they've dropped 60% just in the 2 months of the Trump administration. What I'd ask folks to appreciate here is that we are not going to fix things overnight. Yeah. Joe Biden left us, this is not an exaggeration, Lawrence, with the largest peacetime debt and deficit in the history of the United States of America, with sky-high interest rates. You don't fix that stuff overnight. We know people are struggling. We're fighting as quickly as we can to fix what was left to us.
The largest deficit in the history of the United States. That doesn't sound appealing to me. For some reason, the Democrats don't like to talk about that. Nobody likes to talk about that. Not the libertarian side neither. The only people that bring that up are Republicans, and they're not lying about it. They're not making up these numbers. It's factual, it's evidence-based stuff. And for some reason, Democrats want to talk about prices right now as if Joe Biden's inflation wasn't the reason for all this. And President Donald Trump can't fix inflation in 2 months. It's impossible. You can't just go out there and tell everybody what to price everything as. This is a constitutional republic, and it's a capitalist economy. This is not socialism. It's not communism. We can't control prices to the point of saying what everything should be. Here's Bill O'Reilly talking about the tariffs as well.
No one has taken on the unfair trade policies across the world. No one. Why? Because we were prospering. Even with the unfair trade, America is still the richest country on earth. Trump just wants to make it richer. He wants to give more opportunity to people to build assets, which is noble, I think.
Yeah, I do believe it's noble. It's a good cause. The American economy. What's wrong with that cause, if any cause? American people trying to put more dollars in their pockets rather than foreigners and foreign interests. And if the CNNs of the world were really correct in saying that Donald Trump is trying to put more money into billionaire pockets, why would he start tariffing everybody? Why would he start tariffing his buddies who are already moving their product and manufacturing outside of the United States? But I don't know. What do you think? Are tariffs a good thing? Are they a bad thing? Is it going to help the economy? Is it going to hurt the economy? Long run, short term? Who knows? But you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take the word of the Richard Quests or the Bill O'Reillys, the Foxes or the CNNs. Use your own judgment. There's nothing wrong with that. We're all free thinkers. But I hope everybody enjoys their day. Get out there, do some PT today. And I'll see you next time.